A few years ago, I'm sure I've told this story before, when we were living in Texas, we had to go to a conference in Dallas, about a 2-hour drive away from where we lived. And we were telling Christian, was young at the time, we said, Christian, we're going to go to Dallas for the weekend. We go to Dallas. And he's like, oh, this is the first he'd ever heard of Dallas. How many of you know Dallas is big? I don't know if you've ever been there. In fact, it's so big, it kind of stretches into this other city called Fort Worth. It's also big. It's just a huge, big city. Big, 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 big place. But we told Christian we're going to go to Dallas. He's like, okay, we're going to go to Dallas. We're going to go to Dallas. And we went to Dallas and we stayed at this hotel, Days Inn, Comfort Inn, something like that. And we went to the conference, went back. And, Christian, how did you like Dallas? Man, it was so cool. Well, what did you think about Dallas? I love that TV that they had in Dallas because it had a bunch of stations on it. What? What else do you think about Dallas? The beds were cool. There were 2 beds in Dallas. You know, they were like, he thought that the hotel was Dallas. Okay, that's where we went, Dallas. Hotel was Dallas. Now the hotel was bigger than our house, but his idea of Dallas was big as a hotel. His view of Dallas was way too small. He did not understand that Dallas was huge. And that is exactly the way that you and I are watching God. Is we have a picture of God as like this, and no wonder why He can't do anything in your life miraculous. Because in your mind it's like, oh, it's just there. But really, He's so much more. Okay? How big is your God? God is bigger than your problem. And then the third and final question is this. And that is, what is God telling you to do? Okay, let's go back to our story in John 5. It says, then Jesus said to him, get up, pick up your mat, and walk. And once the man was cured, he picked up his mat, and he walked. 38 years of sitting there on your rear end, and all of a sudden he walked. It's pretty amazing, pretty miraculous. But notice how Jesus dealt with it. He said, get up, pick up your mat, walk. There was an element of obedience that had to be done by the guy. Okay, Jesus certainly could have just thrown him up there, made it happen. He's on his feet. He said, no, get up, get your mat, get and walk. There was an element of obedience, something that the guy had to do. Okay, and there is a great debate that has been in Christianity for a long time about a variety of different topics, and it has to do with this idea here. Is when you're dealing with the miraculous, when you're dealing with how God deals with us on the earth, is how much of that is God doing it, and how much is He in control, and how much of it is us. And it ranges from everything to miracles to even salvation. And it is a huge, huge debate. How much is Him doing it, and how much part do we have in it? And how does that mix, and where is it at with that? And man, I have read about this in the Bible and read passages and talked with people and debated with people about this issue. And I don't consider myself to be a theologian, but this is what I've came up with. Is that there are elements in the Bible that's very clear that it is God. And it is only what He can do. And then there are elements where it's very clear that it has a lot to do with us and our obedience and what we're supposed to do. For some reason, God has allowed both of those ideas to be in there, and we've got to deal with that. So I think the truth of the matter is there is an element of God that we cannot do. We would call that the miraculous. We call that the supernatural, breaking forth and doing it. We can't speak the universe into existence. That's only God. What's very interesting is in the Bible, whenever the miraculous was going to happen, there was a point where it always seemed like there was an issue of obedience that had to do with the people on the earth. There was something that they had to do. And the two things worked together. Now, a person can't work a miracle. There's no doubt about that. Only God can do that. But somehow we're involved with it. The question is, what is God telling you to do? What is God telling you to obey? And that's part of it. Right there. Think of these examples. Moses. God was getting ready to speak to him. Moses, do something. Take off your sandals. And holy ground. Okay, gotta obey. Noah. God was about to flood the whole earth. Do this miraculous thing. Noah, you got to build an ark. You got to do something. Okay? Do something. Lepers need to be healed. Go dip 7 times in a river. Why did they have to do that? I don't know. God could have just done it in a second. They had to do something. There was an issue of obedience. The blind man Jesus healed. The strange thing is he put the mud in the guy's eye. Why? I mean, he could have just snapped. He could have breathed. He could have spoke. He could have been done. Blind man, go wash the mud out of your eyes. There was something he had to do. With Christians, when following Jesus, Jesus says, come, follow me. Certainly he does choose us. Certainly he does that, but he also says, you must follow me. There's an issue of obedience. Look at John 10:27. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them. If they do something, they follow me. They follow me. The question is, what is God telling you to do? How do you need to obey? 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, the new is come. Obedience precedes the miraculous. You know, there's some people that need something. They need to have a change in their life. And they have the right idea and understanding that, you know, only God can change it. And I think they understand that it needs to be placed in His hands squarely so that He can change. But they'll say, yeah, okay, whenever God does it, that's fine. God, you just do it whenever. But maybe it's an issue of what is God telling you to do? And that act of obedience is what He's waiting on. He's saying, you need to do that. What is your handicap? What is the miracle that needs to happen? How big is your God? Understand who He is. If you truly say, I have a God that can spoke the earth into existence. My problem is not too small. You can do it, God. And then what is God telling you to do? God will not obey you. He wins. Could you guys stand to your feet? And I'd like for us to, as we close the service today,